Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria 3, where it's time to make a mistake. Specifically, the mistake that I want to make is declaring war. It's not necessarily a mistake. We're going to win the war. The question is, how positive will we be financially as we go through this? But I don't want to be sitting at 0 infamy anymore. So this pretty much means a war against Afghanistan. There isn't really another solid option here for this. I want it to be a relatively cheap war that generates us a reasonable amount of infamy, but doesn't require us to fight too many enemies on too many fronts. That's the idea. So what we're going to do here is we are going to do a conquer state CB on Afghanistan. We can afford to get both of these conquered rather than making a protectorate, although that would be significantly cheaper. So if we did that, let's see, Persia is in a defensive pact with the Ottoman Empire. I don't want to fight the Ottoman Empire in our current economic situation. So I think that we don't make any claims on Persia here. We simply go after Afghanistan. We will fight Persia, but we do this. Okay, so that'll be reasonably fine. I'm not going to mobilize any forces just yet. Persia will join this, almost certainly. How powerful is Persia? They're not very. Okay, that's absolutely fine. So we're expecting a front to be here and potentially a front to be here. I'm wondering if we can have our National Guard defend this front while these guys, the 3rd Russian Army, comes over to Afghanistan and just pushes in this front. That's the overall idea. I want this to be fairly cheap, though, for obvious reasons. So that's fine. Persia sides with Afghanistan, as we would expect. So what I want to do now is I want the 3rd Russian Army, which actually needs a commander, will recruit this guy, and we can promote him as well. And we'll need to promote him again. There we go. And now I'm going to mobilize them, and we're going to send them out over here. That'll be relatively expensive. Then I'm going to mobilize our National Guard and send them down here. And we'll see how that goes. If we need to mobilize an additional force, and I want the National Guard to be in a purely defensive footing. There we go. If we need to mobilize any more, we can. But that is the plan for this moment. Persia abandoned Afghanistan. Oh my. In which case, we would cancel the mobilization here. And we're still making a decent amount of finances, so that looks good. We should have no problem with this. Now, to be clear, we are going to make another claim on Afghanistan. Absolutely. And we may as well do it now, honestly. So we're going to conquer eastern Afghanistan as well, and that will pause our escalation. I want to know, what are we at for our infamy? 34? Yeah, that's not too bad, all things considered. I don't think anyone is going to join in on this. And that's all we can claim, right? So that is definitely what we're going to claim here. The Sikh Empire already declared neutrality. That is excellent. So at this point, we can just let our infamy continue to drop. We are paying off our debt at about half the speed that we were before mobilization. I think this is absolutely fine. I have no problem with what we've got going on here. So we can just take over Afghanistan. That gives us access to potentially attack Kalat. I don't know what their diplomacy is like. They have no diplomacy. Okay, noted. But look at that. No one is going to join. We're in the countdown to war. So that looks phenomenal. I'm very glad to see that. I'm also very glad to see that this is only eating up half of our surplus. So that's great. And that'll continue to improve as we demobilize our National Guard. So yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. War with Afghanistan has broken out. The 3rd Russian Army is not yet fully mobilized, but it'll get there. Okay, so we're launching an attack and we're just absolutely crushing them. Excellent. Of course, taking over Afghanistan isn't the difficult part, right? It's not that hard necessarily to take over Afghanistan. It's occupying Afghanistan that historically has been a problem for people. We'll see how that ends up going. For now, of course, we're just going to take it over and take over all that sweet, sweet opium. That is absolutely the goal here. And that'll be fantastic. A good vintage, huh? Sure, we can take some prestige. I don't mind bumping up our prestige a bit. We've dropped down to number 6, but that's because we're deliberately sacking our prestige, and I don't really care about that, so that's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fantastic, though, to see us at plus 23 with one of our full armies raised up here, so I'm very happy to see that. Now, what is the status on the 5th Russian army? Well, we're waiting to construct the barracks back over here, is the answer. So that'll take some time. We're going to be continuing to work on these railways. We're finishing up our steel mills and lead mines. Do we have anything? Okay, we have a low training rate due to lowering our military wages. Hang on. I was under the impression, and maybe this has changed in a recent patch, but I was under the impression that military wages didn't actually affect training rate. It doesn't say it does in the tooltip. Oh, it does, in the low military wages. So lowering your military wages does reduce your training rate, but raising your military wages does not increase your training rate. Gotcha. That's fine. We don't actually need training rate here. We will crush these guys without a problem. I'm not actually concerned about it. We're not going to raise our wages. So that's absolutely fine. We'll have Afghanistan occupied extremely shortly. There's very little they can do about this, so this is okay. We don't actually need training rate at this moment. We are continuing to pay off our debt. We've got about 10 million in debt right now, and that looks fine. And of course, once this war is over, we're going to be paying that off at an increased rate again. So we're going to be working on railways for a little bit here. I'm wondering if we want to move up these coal mines in Kuban. It's only 7.9% construction efficiency. Military statistics has been unlocked. That's cool. So advanced tactics training for our barracks and conscription centers, as well as luxurious supplies for a mobilization option. We probably don't need to be on luxurious supplies, which reminds me, I want to check in to see where we actually are at our mobilization here. So we're in extra supplies. Okay. We could absolutely go up to luxurious supplies. This is how much it would cost to mobilize, right? Or is this how much it's going to cost overall? Let's find out. We'll let this go a week tick and see what happens. To mobilize. Okay. Gotcha. So it's costing us a little bit more because the 3rd Russian army is mobilized, which is expected. That's absolutely fine. So we're going to continue to press in here with the 3rd Russian army. And once they demobilize, it should be fine. Now, I do want to go into our barracks here and think about advanced tactics training. That will boost our training rate. It'll be potentially expensive. We'll see how expensive that actually ends up being. Let's give it a week tick here, or 2. It'll take some time for that to change over, but it looks like it's not too bad. So we're winning yet another attack in Afghanistan, naturally. And this looks fantastic. So we're continuing to press in over this way. I would like to break into Lithuania, Belarus, Poland, Ukraine, but Europe is not very happy with us doing this. Protectorate, France. Defensive Pact, Belarus, Lithuania, Ukraine. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff over here. Allied with Romania. I don't know that we care about being allied with Romania, to be honest. Probably not. But, I mean, that is actually quite interesting. Okay. Well, in that case, this war's over. We just need to wait for Afghanistan to give up. So they're going to capitulate quite soon. They're at minus 102 reasons, but that's going to go away very soon. Minus 78 now. Beautiful. They have 19 reasons to not accept this. And they will accept it very soon. Now they're at 0 reasons. Any moment now. Now they're at 19 reasons. We'll propose the peace deal. And they accept. Beautiful. So we got Afghanistan. And of course, we need to start working on incorporating. Now, will this cost us more bureaucracy than we have? Potentially. We'll find out. We'll get those incorporating. 280. Okay, noted. We'll also reset production methods down here. We're not going to reset any of these production methods because these are wooden passenger carriers. But we do need to come down to these Afghanistan regions and take a look using 60 of 68 infrastructure. Okay, so there's already railways through here. That is very convenient. Okay, I like that. That is absolutely phenomenal, in fact. That's a pretty good population bump. You know what? We'll take it. That is great. Okay, so we are making about 26k. It's down a little bit, but that's not shocking necessarily. So I don't think we need to immediately get anything going in Afghanistan. We can definitely work on those opium plantations, though. That would not be a terrible thing. But I think our bigger problem here is going to be turmoil for a while. Imagine that, turmoil in Afghanistan after being conquered. You know, I don't think I've ever heard this story before. I can't say that with a straight face. I absolutely can't. Okay, so that's all absolutely fine. We are going to need to move up a government administration. I'm going to move up this one. And that government administration is, of course, going to be outputting 65 bureaucracy. So that's not going to deal with our overall bureaucracy deficit. So we're going to need to move up a couple more. I'm going to move up this one as well. And that'll be... I mean, that won't deal with the overall bureaucracy deficit either, but it will definitely be a good start. Cool. I'm apparently having middle mouse click issues again. I wasn't for a while there, but now it's barely accepting it. Interesting. Well, we may have to WASDA around. We'll see. For the time being, it's not the big... Okay, now it works, now it doesn't. It's very, very finicky, apparently. Okay, well, I'll look into that after this episode. That's fine. So we're still working on paying off our debt. We owe about 10.2 million, but we are paying off at a reasonable rate here. It's not fantastic, but it is absolutely reasonable. Let's check in on our current situation. What do we have going on here? So we have some standard of living issues. We have some input goods shortages. We're working on these transportation input goods shortages as kind of the second priority at this moment. So that's fine. Getting our government administrations to the point where they are, you know, back positive in bureaucracy, that's the top priority at this moment. So this is going to be what? Ottoman Empire sided with Persia in a diplomatic play against Great Britain? What is going on over here? Great Britain is attempting to conquer Kerman. I don't want Great Britain to conquer Kerman. We're going to lean towards Persia here. We could offer support. But for the moment, we're going to do this. I don't want Great Britain to conquer Kerman. And the question is, how powerful are they? Well, they're 10k. They are slightly more powerful than we are, and we don't really want to do a full mobilization against them. So there is that. The Ottoman Empire is how strong? About 5,000? You know what? I'm going to offer support over here. They wouldn't accept become subject. We could ask for war goals. What war goal would we want? Well... we could conquer Malta, Yukon Territory, or British Columbia. To be honest, Yukon Territory would be the way to go. How much infamy do we have? 27.3. Okay, so let's offer support, ask for war goals, ask for conquer state, Yukon Territory. Done. Okay, so we are now involved in this, and it's of course going to be a bit of a thing. The question is, just how much do they have out over here? And the answer is not a ton. I'm going to take the 5th Russian Army. We're going to mobilize them, and we're going to deploy them out to this front. There we go. Now, at this time, there is no front down over here. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But I do want, since we're fighting Britain, I do want to bump our military wages up to here. That does put us negative financially. That's fine. For the moment, I'm not too concerned about it. We can run a little bit of a deficit here. We have a significant interest in this region, and we do not want Britain to get involved over here. So if we look at this, Britain is still confident, and Persia is still fearful at this moment. We'll see how this ends up going. Financially, we're going to have some problems. If we end up losing this war, it's probably not the worst thing in the world. Britain has added Conquer Sistan. Okay. But they'll have to do a naval invasion down over here. We'll see how that ends up going, and we're just sending an army up over here for the time being. We are going to need to eventually mobilize additional forces. But for the moment, we're going to allow the Ottoman Empire to hopefully deal with the majority of that. Now, I do want to take a look here. Market access in those areas. Yeah, that's not shocking. Okay. So we have one more government administration being finished. I'm going to move one more up. And I'm also going to move up these coal mines. So we're going to prioritize the government administrations, then the coal mines, then these railways. Just because we need, you know, some extra income. Okay, so Britain is currently confident, and we'll see how this ends up going. Probably poorly is my answer. I'm guessing it will go poorly. Sure, this guy has earned it. That'll be fine. Maybe we should have taken British war reps to do this. I don't know, I kind of want the territory from Canada, though. So, I think that'll be reasonably fine. War with Great Britain has broken out. There is immediately a naval invasion in Kerman. Okay. I'm not super shocked about that one. We're going to need to mobilize these lads, and that's going to be expensive. We'll get them mobilized, and as soon as there is a front for us to travel to, we'll travel down to that front. I'm not planning on doing a full mobilization. We're just seeing what we can get. And then maybe we manage to get something out of this. The biggest thing that we'd like to do is prevent Britain from taking over Persia. That is the biggest thing. So we're still in progress of heading up over here. That's noted. This naval invasion is still happening, but we'll see how long that ends up taking. Okay, so we are positive now in our bureaucracy. I want to check in here. What is the price of various goods like ammunition? Plus 15? Okay. What about small arms? Small arms aren't a problem. Minus 36. Noted. What about artillery? Minus 44. Okay. So if we're going to make anything that produces military goods, it should be munitions. But that's negative everywhere except Transbaikal, of all places. Okay. Noted. So for the moment, that seems absolutely fine. We have not arrived at this front yet. These guys had a long ways to travel, of course. But they will be arriving there fairly soon. Okay, we can see that there's now a naval invasion in Sistan. Canada is invading Persia as well. Okay. So we're going to keep an eye on this. There's nothing we can do to prevent this naval invasion. But what we absolutely can do... Okay, the Indian Navy is heading up over here. What we absolutely can do is prevent them from, hopefully, establishing too much of a foothold here. We do see a British army moving in. Okay, so they're on their way. Prussia declared a rivalry. Hilarious. We're currently at 29 infamy, which is not too bad, all things considered. And we're almost at this front at this point. We'll arrive there soon-ish. Okay, we do see a battle occurring here, and Britain is actually losing that battle. That's a really good sign. That's a really good sign. We can see that Britain is currently at lower war support than Persia. Now, we just unlocked steam donkeys, and we should probably check in to see, would steam donkeys be a useful thing for us? The answer is yes. It's going to be a lot of pollution. Yeah, that's understood. Steam donkeys will broadly be good for us, but we're going to be very short on engines. That's okay. We can definitely work on motor industries, but last I knew, our motor industries had room to scale up. And let's double check that. That is no longer the case in Moscow. Okay, do we have other motor industries around? Yes, in Tver, which is at 91%, in Ingria at 13, so we do have some room to scale these. I'm still going to queue up 3 additional motor industries here. We'll get those underway. Okay, we do have another technology that we need to get, and there's a naval invasion in Ingria. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. So, I think we'll end up going for probably a military tech at this point. I feel like maybe modern nursing, since we have access to opium. Okay, now where is this naval invasion in Ingria? Up over here. Cool. How strong is the fleet that's up here? 31? Okay. I'm going to mobilize the National Guard here, and we are going to station them in this HQ, in the Baltic HQ here. So we're going to send them on over to help defend that area. And over here, we are definitely occupying Canada, so that looks good. How are these invasions going? Britain is losing this battle, but at what cost? There is that. I would like to take these guys and station them down in this HQ. Unfortunately, we can't do that. We could station them in the Persia HQ down here, though, and they might be able to defend this area if we do that. Maybe. We'll see. The National Guard is intended to help defend this area, of course. So we're just occupying out over here just freely at this point. And I want to check in, what is this army assigned to do? So that is the 5th Russian Army. They are assigned to advance front. And yeah, that seems absolutely fine. We're seeing a lot of Ottoman forces coming up here. We really don't need their help. I wish that they would come down over here instead. Okay, so this battle, the British are losing. If we can prevent them from establishing a beachhead down here, that's going to be huge. Absolutely huge. We do see forces moving out over here, but the numbers aren't significant. And with all of these Ottoman troops coming in, it seems okay. Now, a lot of our convoys are being sunk, and this isn't shocking. This isn't shocking at all. So at this point, Britain cannot be reduced below 0 because their war goal, British war reparations, are not being occupied. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Well, we don't control the peace deal, so it kind of is what it is. We'll see how that goes. There's some naval battles going on with the Ottoman fleet here. The Ottoman fleet should lose that, I would expect. And we are now seeing additional British forces making their way over to this Canadian front. That seems fine. No major issues there. However, Persia also can't be reduced below 0 right now. And actually, we're seeing the Canadian army leaving this front, which is fascinating. No doubt about that. I would rather not be involved in a big war right now. I want to be clear about this. But also, we really don't want Britain breaking into our sphere of influence over here. That's why we joined this war. We are attempting to prevent Britain from breaking into our SOI. So currently Britain is dropping down in their peace acceptance. We'll see what ends up happening with this. There might just be a white peace. And yeah, our convoys are getting sunk. But we have made significant occupation progress up in Canada. So that's looking good. They're losing 0.86 due to exhaustion, compared to our 0.46 due to exhaustion. So there is that, and we will continue to push through over on this side. What is our current military budget? It's even? Okay, that's fine. And we are seeing a bunch of battles breaking out over here. This one is being lost, but this one's being won, and so's the other. That's all looking good. down this way, this naval invasion and this naval invasion, both of these appear to be making no progress, which is excellent. That is pretty much what we want to see here. And we're continuing to press through Canada. That said, there's a large Anglo-Indian army arriving up here. We're going to put these guys into a defensive footing. We've also noted that the Ottoman forces have broadly left. So there is that. For the time being, we're just backing off into a defensive footing out over here. And we'll see how that ends up going, but there are a lot of forces here at this point. So that's fine for now, but it's not necessarily going to be fine forever. We could mobilize another army and send it out. It'll take a long time to get here, but they're definitely focusing a lot of forces on this Canadian incursion. No doubt about it. Okay, so this is an Ottoman force that lost that battle. And this is an Ottoman force that's winning this battle. How many Ottoman forces are actually here, but we don't see? We see the 5th Russian army here. We have 133, and they have 29. For now, we're going to continue to advance front. We're going to have to keep a close eye on this front. As these guys arrive, problems will ensue. Yeah, we're down to -18 now. I'm going to bump these guys back to defend front for the moment. Okay, so we'll just try to hold on to our gains over here. We see this attack happening that the British are losing. Excellent. That looks very, very good. This out here is less good, of course. The Ottomans are winning this over here, and we're winning this. So that looks reasonable for the time being. And the British are losing this attack here. The British are broadly losing this war. It's tough, though. No doubt about it. But keep in mind, we've not fully mobilized. We have 2 additional full armies that we can mobilize, plus whatever this 8th Russian army is. But to be honest, I think that this 8th Russian army should be disbanded. There we go. Cool. So that seems fine for the moment. Now, this over here, this fight is going to continue for a while. That's okay. Yep, the British are... Whoa, that was a sudden flip around. The British are in panicked retreat, but they still flipped this around. Remarkable. I'm not sure exactly why they did that, to be honest. Okay, so the British are going to get some landing progress there, but that's okay. We haven't really been able to fight over here at this point. I mean, we have utilized some manpower, it looks like, but that's reasonably fine. So they've stopped trying to invade over here. I think I want to send the National Guard over to this front. So we're going to send them off. Eventually, Britain will want to exit this war, but that time is not yet. So they should have gotten some landing progress here. 0 of 3 lost currently. Okay. They're making progress here. Yeah, they gained 25% landing progress. They are winning this battle. Eventually, we expect them to create a foothold here. But when that happens, the Persian army here, the Ottoman army here, and our army is going to move in, and we're just going to absolutely start demolishing them, is the idea. So over here, we're winning this defensive action, and we're winning this defensive action as well. That seems fantastic. We're bringing a few reinforcements over, but it will take them a while to get there. So they're going to go up to 50% landing progress here. And we can see that they're down to 41 war support right now. They can't be dropped below 0 because of that war reparations demand that Persia made. And I really don't like that, because we have to occupy their capital. I don't think that Persia should have done that. That was a mistake on Persia's part. Also, I don't think that we should have to occupy their capital to demand war reparations. To be clear, I think that that's not exactly a good thing. So we're winning this defensive action. I think we won this one as well. and this is an offensive action that the Ottomans are losing. Okay. How's this battle going? Yep, the British are still winning this. They're up to 54% landing progress. But we're going to be able to move in very quickly and help out down over this way. So that'll be good. It is about time to put a cut in here, and this war is probably going to stretch on for a while yet. So the British war reparations are going to be paid just to Persia, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's indeed going to be the case. So Britain is going to establish a front down here fairly soon. This isn't necessarily surprising. I'm kind of surprised it's taken them this long, to be honest. Up over this direction, we're still sitting at -2, and you're on defense? Okay, sounds good. So we're going to continue to just hold this front. We do see that there's an Ottoman army up over here, and if they want to attack, we'll let them attack, but they shouldn't. We're in a decent spot up over here. We've got Yukon, I think, fully occupied. So let's see here. This is British Columbia. This is Yukon territory. Yeah, we've got Yukon fully occupied. So that is a good position for us there. Now, the British are currently losing this invasion. But as I said, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to wrap up this war with Britain, and we'll see what this ends up looking like. Nobody is going to want to capitulate for a while, I have a feeling. So, this could potentially be bad financially, but we'll find out. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.